Okay, so I'm going to discuss blood typing using models as an example. First, I'm going to start talking about A, B blood, and O blood. I'm going to talk about Rh positive blood and Rh negative blood a little bit later. So you can see we've got a blood cell model here. It has nothing on its surface. And in fact, what determines what blood type you have depends on the things that are growing on the surface of your blood cells. Those things are called antigens. They could be carbohydrates or proteins or other things like that. It doesn't really matter for our purposes. But the idea is that if you have nothing growing on your blood cells, no antigens, your blood type is type O. So your phenotype would be type O, and your genotype could be, well, rather it has to be homozygous OO, because O blood is recessive to A blood, and it's also recessive to B blood. So if you have type O blood, you got an O allele from your mother and from your father, and you have no A alleles and you have no B alleles. Now, suppose instead of having type O blood, you have A antigens on your blood. A antigens are represented by these blue pegs on the model. So if you have A antigens only, your blood type is quite simply A. Okay, so your phenotype is A, and your genotype could be either homozygous A or it could be AO. Remember, because O is recessive. So if you have one A, it overrides the presence of O. So a person who has type A blood, it's possible they have a mother who is, for example, type O and has given them an O allele. But we don't know that just from their blood type. Now, suppose that you have B antigens only. These are represented by the yellow pegs. So if you have B antigens only, blood type is, of course, B. So your phenotype is B. Your genotype is either BB or BO. We can't tell just by looking at you or looking at your blood. The final type, next type in the ABO system is, type AB. You have A antigens. If you have B antigens, you have type AB blood. Because remember, A and B are codominant to each other. It means if you have both of them present, they're both expressed. It's not a case of simple dominance and recessiveness. Now remember, the O allele right here is simple dominant and recessiveness trait. If you have one A or one B, it totally overrides the presence of the O. Okay? So I hope that explains the ABO system. Now I'm going to add a final complication of Rh factor. Now we represent Rh factor by these green pegs. So Rh factor is just another antigen, sort of similar to A and B, except it exhibits simple dominance and recessiveness. So if you have, you have Rh positive alleles, then you have your Rh positive blood. That is, you have positive blood. If you have no Rh alleles, that is no Rh antigens in your blood, then you are Rh negative. So you have type negative blood. So if you have Rh antigens, your blood type is positive, whether it's A positive or B positive or O positive or AB positive. If you have no antigens, your blood type is negative, whether it's A negative, B negative, or O negative. So let's look at an example. Suppose that you have A antigens only, and you have no Rh antigens. You are A negative. Okay. If you have A antigens and Rh antigens, you're A positive. Okay. If you have A antigens, B antigens, and Rh antigens, you are AB positive. If you have A antigens, B antigens, but no Rh antigens, you're AB negative. Okay, so we've been talking about blood types with A, B, O, and Rh factor. So let's describe what's actually going on in your blood. Basically, your bloodstream does not like foreign objects in it. Your body does not like to have foreign blood types inserted into its bloodstream. So you may have antibodies in your bloodstream that specialize in attacking foreign antigens. And so we represent these as these little Y-shaped forks. Remember, you're going to have antibodies that specialize in attacking antigens foreign to your blood type. You're not going to have antibodies that specialize in attacking antigens that are your blood type. So, suppose your blood type is AB positive. You have all antigens on your blood. No blood type is foreign to you, right? No antigens are foreign to you. Therefore, you're not going to have antibodies against A, B, or Rh in your blood because they're all native blood types. Suppose that your blood type is O negative. You have no antibodies no antigens in your blood. You may have antibodies to A. You may have antibodies to B. You may have antibodies to Rh antigens because they're all foreign blood types. Okay, so suppose you are a person who is type O blood, and you need a blood transfusion. You go to the hospital and they give you the wrong blood type. Suppose they give you type A blood. So you have type A blood floating around your bloodstream now. Remember, it's a foreign antigen to you. Type A is. So you have antibodies to type A blood. So our antibodies are represented by these little forks. And so we have our antibody to type A, it sees that it's a foreign blood type, grabs onto the antigens, clumps them together, so it causes blood clots. That's why if you have too much foreign blood in your body, it can cause a fatal blood clot. That's why you have to make sure you get the correct blood type. Okay? So scientists can use the fact that antibodies cause clumping to actually determine what blood types people have. Okay, remember you did this in lab. Remember you got a ceramic tray and you put patients' blood types. We had patients 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we labeled the top A, B, and Rh for the 3 antigens we were testing for. And so we added antibodies to type A antigens here, antibodies to type B antigens here, and antibodies to Rh factor here. Okay? This particular person had only clotting with the A antibodies. That means only A antigens were present. There's no B, there's no Rh. If only A antigens are present, you have type A blood. Also, you have a negative blood because Rh negative. There's no Rh factor. This particular person had B antigens and Rh antigens. So this particular person was B positive. B antigens plus Rh antigens made the person positive. This person had no clotting at all. That means that none of those 3 antigens were present. If none of 3 antigens were present, the person must be O. Of course, O negative because the person was lacking Rh antigens. This particular person had clots for A, B, and Rh. If all 3 clot, that means all 3 antigens are present. So your blood type is AB positive. Okay. Just to sum it up, I want you to remember that A and B are codominant to each other. O is recessive to both A and B, and Rh positive is dominant to Rh negative.